Caravaggio was actually a criminal when he arrived in Naples in the autumn of 1606. He was going through one of the most tragic periods of his life. Soon after his arrival, he executed a painting that would depict the 7 works of mercy. In this painting, everyday's life meets divinity. The only illumination of the whole scene is indeed provided by a candle lifted by a priest. He is turning the street corner with 2 other persons carrying a dead body half wrapped in a shroud. The painting is about several concepts: suffering, charity, mercy, and salvation. The work was meant to illustrate these concepts and to provide a specific social guidance to the emergence of feelings in the observer. Furthermore, the painter conveys also his personal point of view with respect to the concepts and his personal theological view. How is this possible? How Caravaggio can express abstract concepts through the representation of live models? It is probably a bidirectional process. On the one hand, he uses concrete figures to represent the abstract concepts. Pay attention to the woman's breast, for example. While, on the other hand, the abstract concepts provide an effective orientation to the interpretation of the figures. That's why we see the breastfeeding instead of a lustful scene. In the 7 works of mercy, the meaning is that everyone potentially can embody the mercy. And this can affect everyone. Everybody in everyday life are bounded by the concept of mercy. Moving to the left of the canvas, we can see another group of figures, which represents 3 acts: clothing the naked, visiting the ill, and sheltering the traveler. Caravaggio interprets the legend of Saint Martin, who is represented with the clothes of a rich Spanish gentleman of the 17th century in the act of sharing his coat with a poor beggar. Right beyond the couple, we can see 2 other male figures. One is a pilgrim, as indicated by the shell of the Camino de Santiago on his dress, while the other is pointing somewhere on the left outside the canvas, probably in direction of a hostel. As we move little up on the left, we can see the act of drinking to the thirsty. The artist chooses another unusual representation. Samson drinks water from the jawbone of an ass, referring to a story contained into the Book of Judges of the Hebrew Bible. The final group of figures occupies the central top part of the canvas. Caravaggio portraits the Virgin Mary with a young Christ and two angels. One black and one white. It is the most ambiguous representation, as it does not carry the usual sacred and heavenly character of these types of paintings. Caravaggio seems to ask, where is the divinity when people on the earth are going through their everyday suffering and piety? We can see the two angels looking downwards. Apparently, they are gripping each other while falling. The angel with the black wings is stretching out his hand toward the group of people below. We cannot really say whether he is landing his blessing to the suffering, or it is trying to drive away humanity from the gates of heaven. On the top of the group, Virgin Mary is looking down at the crowd, with a mix of compassion and distance. She seems to keep the young Christ from turning to the people. Or, maybe, is she going down to help?
While experiencing a moment of despair in his life, the artist is questioning the nature of divinity, and reflecting his vicinity to the everyday life struggle of laypeople. The artist wants to convey the message of timelessness of mercy as a great virtue. The painting collapses time and space, drawing the whole world and world's history into its dark center. At the same time, the painting includes some matters very personal to Caravaggio. He himself had hope for mercy in his mind, since he had killed a man in a sword fight only 1 year before. With the 7 works of mercy, the painter expresses his own urgent desire to receive pardon. But the painting is also a timeless invitation for people to explore mercy in their own lives.